All right, I'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with the minutes of the last board meeting, June 11th. Everyone's had a chance to take a look at it. Is there any corrections that we need to make? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting, June 11th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes, and then we'll move on to the general fund vouchers, 75,830 through 75,902. Wire transfers 17180,595 through 17180,645, and activity fund vouchers 9285 through 9315. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the vouchers.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the general fund vouchers and wire transfers as read. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Then we'll move on to our public comment section on agenda items.
Who's John?
And then seeing there are none, we'll move on to our new business. And new business item A is the approval of the 2018-19 transportation manual.
Okay, so the manual's in there. I highlighted any changes that were made in yellow. There really aren't a whole lot of changes other than some dates. A couple staff, well, I think one staff changes. Other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I couldn't, on my computer, I couldn't see anything highlighted on it. I don't know why. Maybe there is no highlights in this one.
Just on the bus driver seniority change, the to be determined. Keep going. Flow chart page.
Right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think mine is either.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the years of experience changed. Obviously, they went up, and then the 1-2 TBD on the bottom right-hand corner. That's going to be a new hire. And then the next page, again, bus 13, that to be determined, will be filled, and that's it. Other than that, it stays the same.
So all the people involved took a look at this, and this is what they're going to go with again, Josh, or is this just updating our...
We really just updated. It's been, past practice has been to have it on the agenda each year.
Okay.
One thing that most likely will change is the, I don't know about next year. My hope is next year is the job description. Looking to update some of the job descriptions for next year. And we have some access to some.
Does this Neola, do they look at this like this?
No.
No, they don't.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Well, then I'll entertain a motion if you guys are ready for one.
I'll move to approve the transportation manual.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2018-19 transportation manual. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right, and then the next one is the approval of the 2018-19 teacher employee handbook.
Okay, so that's not in your book packet, but it's stapled in front of you on that pack of stuff that I gave you. I didn't put it in the binder just because of the size of it, but I thought if you guys wanted to look at it, if you haven't. Not a ton of changes in this. There's dates that change, and then the main change, really the only main change, is the verbiage of the the verbiage pertaining to the pay periods. So on page
3.
3. Thank you.
There we got yellow.
So on page 3 there, you can see the main ones are the pay periods. We're changing to the 15th and 30th, so bi-monthly rather than every other week or twice a week. And Lori, if you want to help me explain this, but every 7 to 9 years.
7 to 9 years, because of the way the calendar falls, there ends up being a 27th pay period in a fiscal year, and so therefore, then the teachers and admin, because they're paid salary, would have to skip a pay period for that time. So this fixes that whole problem. That will never happen again.
And this year is one of those years.
And this year would have been one of those years.
So like I said in the superintendent notes there that you guys have, we opened up a meeting. We allowed for anybody to come that wanted to. I saw that. Anyone that wanted to kind of hear the proposed changes and voice their opinion. So we opened it up to everyone in the district. Had a meeting. There really wasn't a whole lot of discussion on it. We shared out what the problem was, what the issue was, that it happened every 5 to 10 year deal. This was one of those years, and this was the solution to fix that from ever happening again, and no one really opposed it. So as a committee, everyone said that they were in favor of it, so we changed it in this year's handbook. And other than that, it's all just dates that have been changed.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion then.
Move to approve?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2018-19 Teacher Employee Handbook. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. Then we'll move on to the approval of the 2018-19 Junior Senior High School Student Handbook.
So this one I'm going to hand over to Mr. Gillis. You have the orange. Are the revisions in this one, and then the student handbook is the white packet.
Yeah, the orange sheet just summarizes what the updates are. Most of it's dates and names as we update faculty members and board members and things like that. Last year's handbook, because of the due date to get it to the printer, still had the old mission and value statements and stuff, and so we got that updated. There's an update to graduation requirements on page 9. To make sure that we included the civics test. The last handbook had in parentheses, it said something about graduating in 2017, so students after 2017 have to have completed the civics test. So now it's just standard language as far as successful completion of the civics exam. Let's see, what else? And then an update on page 11 to add aid language. I just put on there to make sure that students are not to be logging into teacher's computer at any time. They're not to be looking at any other students' grades, things like that. Just wanted to make sure that language is tightened up. That's it. Ready to go to the printers again. Ready for your approval.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the junior, senior high school student handbook.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2018-19 Junior Senior High School Student Handbook. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes.
Thank you.
You bet. And then the next item of business is the approval of the food service prices, student fees, and athletic event prices.
So we don't do this one every year, but I thought it was good just because of the new faces on the board. So I gave you a kind of itemized, a quick synopsis of it in the notes, and then the breakdown kind of specifics are in the board document. But if you look in the notes of my notes for you, the food service, the elementary is at $1.25 for breakfast, $1.35 for high school. Adults are $1.75. And then the free and reduced students are 30 cents. Lunches, elementary are $2.75, high school are $2.95, adults are $3.60, and then reduced lunches at the high school are 40 cents. This is the first year since I've been here that we don't have to, we're not forced by DPI to increase our rates. I think it's a nickel or 15 cents or whatever it is each year, because of how much the Fund 50, the kitchen has made. So we haven't had to borrow any money from Fund 10 to fund any of our kitchen. They're sustaining themselves. So DPI recognizes that. There's a formula that Joy and Penny do, Miss Norby and Miss Korbenek do together, and they let us know that we don't have to do any increases. So I'm proposing that the board doesn't move to increase it. We've increased it for sure the last
It's
two
been for-
two
it's
years.
been a long time.
Okay, even prior to me.
Yeah.
So that's the food service, the athletic prices. Right now we have adults coming in for athletic events are $3, students are $2. A couple season passes are $40 for the year. Single season pass is $28 for the year, and then elementary student season pass is $5, and then we also offer senior citizens can come in for free. And then the student fees right now we have at the high school, junior, senior high, our annual fee is $10.
And those reduced lunches, do we get subsidized the rest of that then? Is that how that works?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if
Up
it's
to
a
the
full
dollar.
amount or not.
It's probably a little bit more.
Is it? Okay.
That's why we want everybody to do a free and reduced application. just
This year.
because.
How does that
You never
work? Does
know.
everybody get one? Or
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the elementary, last year at the open house
We're gonna
was a
make
really
them do
good
it this
year
year.
for
do they
it.
require to get them back, or do they just sometime not opt
No.
to do it?
We don't
I don't think you
require.
can require it.
No.
No.
You can't.
I don't think you can.
It's not like just part of, if you go to school, you gotta fill this out.
No, we've,
In the building, we send it home with registration
Right.
materials, so everybody gets a copy.
Well, the problem is some people just don't fill it out, and
Yeah.
they probably should.
we've tossed around a couple ideas. Is more at the junior, senior high with the going 1-to-1. Like, do we have all the paperwork that goes home? I have it a requirement to come back before they get their 1-to-1 device, and haven't really made a decision yet.
Is it something you can do like online?
You can do it
Gotta
online.
be like a
You can-
handwritten signature or anything like that?
No, families can do it online. There's an online process, and then they can do the paper process too.
I mean, this kind of leads into one of the things that I've kind of been thinking about since I started registering children down in the elementary again. And that is when you go down there and it's, I don't know what day it's called, but you bring the kids in a day ahead of time and you fill out all.
It's actually the first day of school where you get your picture done. And
There are
everything.
15 different stations of paperwork to get. And you know how many times I got to spell my name on them? You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, well, why can't we combine all the things that are needed into one form? And part of that form would be the food service numbers that we need for the free and reduced, to make it all one packet. There's one packet to fill out, and then if the different parts that need the information can pull it from that one packet. I don't know how hard that would be, but that would fix that problem.
It was kind of in one packet though, wasn't it?
One packet of
It was
15
It was,
yeah.
things,
so
but you got to
much
put your
writing,
name
it took
down.
forever, and if you
Just
bring a bunch
siblings
of
and-
mail labels and just flop them right on
Yeah.
there. It's all legal requirement. I'm sure that each document's going to have to be.
Yeah, for sure the
government
free and
at its
reduced one is a separate document that's got to be done by itself. And I'm not sure if the other stuff can be consolidated or not. I know we last year we made it kind of one station, but there is a lot of,
Still gotta do one per
Filling out.
kid.
I would think. the more
Yeah, but the
the
thing that sucks is you do
Not
this one,
everybody
you got to
has this
enter your
problem.
name and address and phone number, and okay, that one's, oh, hey,
Yeah.
you guys need my name and phone number on this one, too. You know what I mean? It's just redundant.
Oh, I'm with you, Greg. I don't like writing any more than I have to. Or the fact that I have to sign off on an internet thing for
In elementary
pre-K.
now do that all online?
I would say anything online would be better.
Some of it.
I think a lot
Yeah.
of it you can. I'm not sure. 'cause I'm
Perhaps.
In elementary, so
I think actually
Yeah.
my wife did it online, but
And I'm not
something
sure
didn't,
what
yeah,
the- all
it
the
didn't work,
online
so we had to
stuff-
do it all over again. And
For like, handbook stuff or whatever.
I
Yeah.
think so.
But I was just thinking if we could wrap that all into one, then we'd get everybody to do it.
sure.
I wonder what the language is, like what they can or can't, like you said, make them do it, but maybe you can't make them do it.
Well, I think
I know
some
we
people
can't
look
with
at
that.
it too. You have to remember that they're looking at, I have this many kids. I know my W-2 is going to be this. There's
Yeah.
no point
Right.
in filling this out either.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the opposite end of the spectrum going,
Right,
we're not going to qualify.
right.
And then we've tried to make it to, there's also that piece of, the embarrassing,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and so we have made it, I know Joy has mailed some home, and we've talked about different ideas. We're going to do a letter home, with a postage back. I think this year was kind of the plan that we talked about, to see if that generates a little more. And we don't really know how much, if any, that of the individuals that we're missing. I mean, we think we are, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So that makes it difficult too. But
I remember one year Brad was he knew we were close, so he really pounded the pavement and sent multiple letters out to people and we ended up qualifying. It might have
That was
been
probably the year that we qualified
Summer
for
school?
summer school lunch then too, probably.
maybe so.
So how do we know that? How do we know what percentage that number is?
We don't. I mean, well, Joy knows when she gets all the forms, she creates, counts the kids.
there's no
That's
way
all-
to know
is it
the
a- that's all
percentage.
based on-
That's
It's a
all based on
percentage. It's
forms
like
that
close
they
to-
turn in.
It's not off of like taxes and the
No,
community
you don't have
or.
that personal information.
There's no way to know the true number. That you only know what you've received.
So it's a lot higher than we think it is because not everyone fills it out then.
Yeah,
Huh? I didn't know. I thought it was.
could be.
I thought you knew there's 50%, but only 30% or whatever are filling it out. Huh.
So
Especially right if we qualified not that long ago with the elementary.
Yeah, I don't know how it could change so fast, but
They even did at the elementary school, I think when you filled out your paperwork, you got to be in, like the kids got to be in a drawing to incentivize parents to fill out the paperwork. So you got a chance to win something.
So we'll be mailing something out early this fall. Hopefully get some more feedback.
yeah, let them know what kind of grants and stuff and monies are available if we
Yep.
do qualify for.
And these days too, some comes through electronically now based on people are in Badger Care or some other, government thing. They'll come through automatically for Joy, so they don't have to fill the form out. So we get
Oh,
some.
so they get on in that case
Yes.
automatically.
Yes, based on the child and their social security number and stuff is matched up with information.
So part of it's there too.
Yeah.
So with this item, the only thing that would need board approval is the food services prices, and it would be approval to keep the prices as is, to not increase for the 2018-19 school year.
Can I add,
Oh, go ahead.
can I add one thing? The athletic event prices. I've got kids that are going to Amory, and you just can't believe how nice it is to only pay $3 to get into a sporting event. So that's nice that we can continue holding that down. Not only that, but every kid that goes out for a sport has to pay fees. Helmet fee, I don't know, but there's these fees over there.
$110 a sport.
My kids did.
We don't have that here, though.
No.
No.
My kids did too.
And that gets expensive when you've got a lot of children.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of sports.
And we've talked about too, just the, one of the things that I noticed when I came is the gym. It's electric in there too, and I think that's part of the reason is we have a lot of people that come to our events, and we'd like to keep the prices down. So I think it's nice for the kids to have a packed gym. So
Definitely.
for this one would be approval for the breakfast and lunch, and there's no need to not. We're Fund 50's doing really well, and we have not transferred anything from Fund 10 since I've been here to cover the cost of the Fund 50.
So do you want to do them separate, Josh? Is that what you're saying?
No, there's
No,
only
there's only
one
one that
needed.
needs it.
The athletic and student fees are not
Just
up for
informational.
board approval, it's just
All right.
the food services.
I'll move to keep the breakfast and lunch prices the same for 2018 and 19.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the food service prices as being the same for 18-19. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. And then we'll move on to our approval of the academic standards.
Okay, so this is now a mandatory board item each year to approve the academic standards for the 2018-19 school year. We're using the Wisconsin Academic Standards. I attached the link. I printed off just that's from the BPI webpage, and then the link to it is in the superintendent notes if you guys want to go in there to get bored someday and look at the standards for each area. So this one is just kind of one of those. We use it in the district. I even feel the last 2 years we're aligning all of our curriculum work is now being tied to the standard. So really everything is moving in that direction. anyway, this next year, this month, we're meeting as an admin team to develop the in-service dates for next fall, and part of those dates is to bring Chris Stratton from CISA in again more than once to continue that work to keep aligning our what the teachers are doing in the classroom with the standards, and just really bringing awareness and changing that thought process as far as what's being taught in the classroom, and it's generating and fostering really good conversation at the teacher level.
All right. Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the Wisconsin academic standards.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the Wisconsin academic standards. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. The next on our agenda is the review of the Department of Public Instruction Transportation Report.
Okay. This is just more informative. The very last page, page 2 of 5. This is a report. Billy Joe, Mrs. Johnson over at the elementary assists me in this report for DPI. So we compile all the students that ride, that get transportation, then it breaks it down. She breaks it down with by how many miles from the school to their houses, and then all that information is compiled and we send it over to DPI. And this is part of, they use this information for some aid as well. So it's just the breakdown. How many kids we have? 0 to 2 miles, 208. 2 to 5 miles, 146 kids. 5 to 8 miles, 106. 8 to 12 miles, 88. And then kids over 12 miles are 2. Totally in 550.
Probably ones that live in Prairie Farm. The
Yeah,
school
that
district
corner,
is so goofy over there.
And we can't count any students that live outside of our district.
No, I know, but the school district's like 4 or 5 miles from Prairie Farm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it curves over there.
Yeah.
So simply just sharing out, no need for any board motion.
Okay. And the next item on our agenda is the approval of a staff hire.
Okay, we've have a signed contract. Nick Verheen has signed. He's been in working. We're excited to have him. And he's moving to the area from Kaukauna, the Kaukauna area, but has now a connection in this area, so we're excited to get him. So this is requires board approval for the official contract.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve
Nick Verheen.
Nick Verhan as the new employee.
Second?
Been properly moved and seconded to hire Nick Pruhan for our band position. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And then the next item is discussion of the annual meeting date.
Okay, so past practice has been to do the annual meeting on that 4th Monday. So we'll have a regular board meeting on that 2nd Monday of August.
We don't have a regular meeting on the second Monday. Right? Oh, yeah, but the
Yeah.
4th, we're not having a meeting before the annual meeting, right?
Right. So we'll have
Or second Monday, yeah.
we'll have a meeting on that 2nd Monday.
Yep.
Let me just look at the date so I don't misspeak.
14 would be-
August 13th is our regular board meeting. And then August 27th would be the annual meeting date.
Are we doing it at 6:30 or 7?
To you guys.
Same as we usually do it, I suppose, huh?
I think we
that's
used to
what we
have
did,
a half-hour school board meeting first.
6:30
the-
and then 7, I think it was.
And then we had that weird kind of time in between, so we moved it up last year. And obviously this year we won't have that, so you guys can, if we want to do kind of regular,
At 7 again?
is that what time it started?
I think initially it was 8, then I think you're right, we did move it up to 7:30 last year.
7:30. Okay.
because there was always an awkward time. There's a long time between the regular board meeting and the committee meeting.
Yeah.
7 even.
Yeah.
I think 6:30 might be a little early, maybe, but 7,
I think if we leave at 7:30 or 8, I think people are going to be home and not come back out.
right.
So I think if you get it at 6:30 or 7, you're more likely to have somebody come. Because if they sit home for an hour,
Put their feet up on the chair.
they're not coming back out.
You talking about Greg, or are you talking?
Was I looking at you, Greg? Sorry. He's not home from the barn yet most times, so.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I say
it's like an
7.
Open, can you explain to, I think, I'm gonna speak for
Yeah.
myself, but I have no idea what this is.
So
What is the annual?
So the annual
Okay.
meeting is really the only meeting that's kind of like the public's meeting. The board meetings are just a meeting that's in the public, but it's your meeting that people can come and watch. But the annual meeting, public can come and they have a voice. And
there's certain things they have to approve.
They
at
give us the
Yeah.
power to do the things that we do, is
Yeah.
what
And they
basically.
give you, and then you present the budget.
and then I'll go over, it's kind of funny, but I'm going over the preliminary budget tonight. And I'll do a little PowerPoint just on kind of basic budgeting presentation for you guys. And then the annual meeting, you would think is like the official budgeting meeting, but it's really not a whole lot changes because all the numbers come in October. So then the annual meeting is very similar to, the budget is very similar to this preliminary budget, not a whole lot changes. And then in October, you guys move to approve like an adopted budget with the official numbers in it.
Gotcha.
And it's up to the school to decide when they want to have the meeting. I mean, I think schools have anywhere from August to October.
Yep, it can.
And about the same 5 people come.
Yeah.
I thought it had to be done by a certain,
There's a window, a time
Yeah.
I
frame.
thought it had to be done in August, but
Nope.
It's not going to have to be done in August.
Oh,
We have had pretty good turnouts.
We,
7?
Is
depends.
that when you don't want a good turnout?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We gotta have pizza or something.
so is you guys good with
Free
August
chocolate milk.
27th?
Yes. And I
I
say
can
7.
7?
7?
Do, I'm assuming we all have to be present.
Yep.
You're cutting the state.
I don't know if it's
short.
mandatory.
It's not mandatory.
Yeah, if you got a state fair, I'd do that instead. That's more fun than an annual meeting.
Unless you wanted to move it to September. No, you don't have to.
Yeah, it's not mandatory. for
I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, it'll
Josh
only
has
be
to
the
be
fifth
there.
day you're there.
Josh has to be there.
All right, we good then with the date?
Yep.
All right. So the next item of business then is the approval of the 2018-19 preliminary budget.
Okay, before we do that, I'm gonna have you guys look at this blue packet, and I'm gonna get my computer up and running here.
This is where the superintendent practices his presentation for the annual meeting.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't have one of those.
where's our rubric so we can score you?
There you go.
Want me to start the timer, Josh?
Yeah.
We'll start running your corn over again yet with fungicide?
Tomorrow.
What are you spraying?
Stratego.
Thought I had good luck with a few years ago.
I think it's probably a good year to do it because everything's going to be a little ahead of schedule.
I called the guy with the helicopter.
You did?
I don't know how much he gets yet. $8 to $10 an acre, I think.
I thought about doing that too, but part of the thing with fungicide is you want good coverage, so you use a lot of gallons. They don't use
4 gallons. 2 to 4. Yeah, how can that do anything? The only thing with the, I suppose it blows it down in there if it's a helicopter though. Would you use 20, 25 gallons?
I think 15, just so we don't have to run over corn to get back to the driveway to fill up again.
Okay, so I just put together a PowerPoint with just some of the budgeting stuff. You guys had requested this last year, and it actually worked out really well just because of the new makeup of the board. So just have some key terms in there, and I have some more key terms that I pulled from another place as well. So you guys can, I won't read all of them, but some of the stuff that is said during the preliminary budget and the annual meeting too. You know, stuff like obviously fiscal year is, you know, from July 1 to June 30th, but then even into categorical aid, per pupil aid, sparsity aid, and I tried to keep it all terms, you know, pertinent to Clear Lake, stuff that means something to us. Some more key terms. Really, we're really basic, and like I said, there's some more. There's a whole list of terms that are more extensive, but. Budgeting cycle, so April, May, kind of June, those last 3 months of the year, we're working on closing out the budget. Then the June is really the big bang as far as why we have so many purchases. We have to have everything spent by that June 30th. We do, said this last year, if you overspend or if you underspend, it affects your aid in some way negatively. So you don't want to underspend, you don't want to overspend, and in your mind you really think, at least it was tough for me to wrap my head around, continue to wrap my head around, you know, in my mind it's always like if you don't spend it, you can save it, but it impacts you negatively. Then the next year you don't get as much aid. So you really have to spend down as close to zero as possible. We put together, last year, you guys approved Fund 46, which has been kind of, I call it my safety net, which has been awesome. So we don't have to spend things that, not that, you know, you spend things that you don't need, but if you really feel like, you know, we could wait a year before we get that or whatever, we can put that money, we've been putting that money into Fund 46, and if you remember, that's a 5-year period where we can't touch that money. And right now we have $100,000 in it. After this year, we'll have more because we do have some that we'll put in there. And then that money can only be used towards maintenance. So we talked about the possibility of maybe using that money, allocating that money towards a new roof here because we'll need it within the next probably 5 to 8 years.
So when you say spend it, you mean buy fund?
Say it again.
Like, so you're. Is it the whole budget that you have to spend?
It's only Fund 10,
or just
so our general fund, so only Fund 10 money's not, and I'll go through all the different funds in here in just a second. So May, June, July, August is kind of when you start developing the next year's budget. So you're closing out the budget at the end, and then you're also looking ahead to start developing the next year's budget. And like I quickly described here, the preliminary is just your best. It's kind of crazy. It's been a good experience for me. I've learned a lot, but it's also kind of a wild ride as far as the budget's just the best guess. I mean, you're really you're basing so many numbers on guesses as far as what different things are going to be coming in. Most of it's coming in October, like your property taxes and all. The revenue, different aid that you receive, how much is coming in, and what the state's telling you. Then, like I said, the annual meeting is still a best guess, and then most everything is kind of that October, November range. Last year, I think one of the aids for the first time ever came in later than, I don't know if that was categorical or what, but came in later than what it's come in the past. And then I think the board approved the final one, the second meeting in October, maybe even November. I don't remember. Then July, like I said, we do, tonight is the preliminary budget, which gets board approved. August is the annual meeting, which is shared out with the community. Everything, there's so many different reports that we do that are tied to the different aid. September count and January count, which are your count of kids. They do a count of the kids, how many kids are in the district. And then October, like I said, is the final board approved budget. Public school revenue sources. So these are the Wisconsin school district derive their revenue through 4 major sources: state aid, property tax, federal aid, and then other local non-property tax revenues such as fees and interests and earnings. These are all the different types, not Clear Lake, but just all the different funds that Wisconsin school districts have. So instructional funds are the 10, 21, 23, 27, 29, 91, 93, 99. Then we have the debt services, which are like if you've had a referendum, if you've had any energy efficiency project, which we've had both referendum and energy efficiency projects. So we have a fund 38 and 39. Then we have the capital project funds, which of those we just have the fund 46, which I just talked about. Then the food and community service funds are the 50 and 80, which we have both of those. 50 is your food service, 80 is your community fund. Fund 60, the fund is primarily to account for assets held by the district for pupil organizations. We don't have a fund 60. Oh, I'm sorry, we do. Yeah, thank you. And then trust funds, which we do have a fund 72, which I have it listed on all of our sheets as trust funds. Sometimes we call it our scholarship fund, because that's really the main thing it's used for us. So then here are a list of ours. And then I kind of go through and explain each one. So Fund 10 is also referred to as the general fund, the state aid. This fund is used to account for all financial transactions relating to the district's current operations. So this is what we call kind of the zero-based budgeting. This is the main fund that we talk about as far as whether you get penalized or not by spending it down at the end of the year. Fund 10, for the most part, ballpark is 70 to 80% of the Fund 10 is salary and benefits, which just gives you kind of an idea of what it is. Of the overall budget, and Clear Lakes is approximately 7 million of our 9.5 overall budget. So the majority of our fund is the majority of the money that we deal with year to year is really Fund 10 when you look at 7 million of the 9.5 million. And then I give you kind of the breakdown as far as where our funding. The state is 5.5 million, local is 1 million, and federal is 100,000, and the other is 475,000. So most of our aid comes from the state. Fund 27 is our special education. 10 to 15% of the overall budget is Fund 27. Approximately 1 million of the 9.5 million, and then at the end of each year, we do take some of Fund 10 to cover the cost we transfer over to Fund 27, depending on the year. Fund 38 is the non-referendum debt. Like I said, 38 and 39, it's 10 to 15% of our overall budget. Both 38 and 39 are both either referendum, which, sorry to put you on the spot, Lori, but the referendum was 2013 or 12? Somewhere in there.
I think it was 13.
Okay, somewhere in there. So that debt is part of 38 and 39, and then as part of that, the last year in the state, Wisconsin was the year Clear Lake did the debt where you could roll in the energy efficiency projects as well. So that was kind of all in one. Fund 46 I talked about a little bit. It's the capital projects fund, but this one is I call it the safety net fund for me. And it was board approved in June 26, 2017, so we have 5 years from that date, and it's worked out really well for me.
Hey Josh, question on Fund 46. So we get to the end of 5 years, year one money's available or year 1 through 5?
I believe all the money is available.
And if it's all available at that time, can it sit there for another year or two?
Yep, I believe so.
Okay.
And I can look into that when we get a little closer, but my understanding was once it's in there like any other fund. You don't have to spend it, but you just can't touch it for that 5-year period. And once because many districts were just getting them board approved without any money, because it doesn't matter any money, all the money is available after the 5 years after the board approves that fund. Fund 50 we talked about, it's our food service. It's 4 to 5% of our overall budget. Many districts have to transfer money from Fund 10 to cover the cost of Fund 50. We don't. We have a good food service program here. The kids utilize a lot of the breakfast and lunch that we offer in the district, so it sustains itself. Fund 72 is a scholarship fund. Fund 80 is community service. It's 1 to 2% of our overall budget. Approximately 80,000 of the 9.5 million. And again, this is just kind of bulk approximate, and you'll see this year's real numbers. But the total revenue, like I said, most of our revenue is coming out of Fund 10, most of our expenditures as well. And you'll notice the revenue and expenditures are the same, and we try to do that each year, have the same going in as what's going out. Expenditures. And then I just quickly threw together, and I know I missed a couple because I don't even have the transportation report on here, but just the different reports that DPI has us doing, most of which Lori and I do, and since my coming here now, it's been even more Lori and I. She's been a part of it and been a huge help in a lot of these reports. And then the last two are the audit reports that the auditors do, and then there's one at the end that we do. So, any questions? Okay. Now I'll go, if you want to turn to the preliminary budget. First page is Fund 10, and in gray the first kind of section, well, the whole first page is just revenues. So again, a lot of this is best guess. A lot of it is you look at the year or two, past 3 years. Some is communicated from the state as far as what's going to be coming. But for example, the property taxes, this is based off a 1% increase. It could be a little bit more than that, but that's historically that's about what we've been, what the increase has been. You go through the mobile home tax is just the best guess. Miscellaneous income is a best guess. Most of these first couples are just best guesses. So the local sources, the 200s, right around that $1 million mark. Inter-district transfers, this is another kind of shot in the dark. This is open enrollment students, so this is kind of like herding cats, both in and out the open enrollment process as far as figuring out which kids are going to be open and enrolled in, which kids are going to be open and enrolled out. But as of a couple weeks ago, this was our best guess for number. Sometimes it's close, sometimes it's way off. Transit, the 500s are the state aid through CESA. That one's pretty close. The 600s.
What is equalization aid?
Where are you?
I'm down in the 600s. Transportation, library, per pupil, equalization. What is?
Yep. So that's
big number.
That's the main one. That's the general state aid. So that's kind of like the big pot that all the districts.
So up on the top it says admissions. Is that our number of students?
Where do you see that?
What do you mean by admissions?
In the first section.
In the very first section. Sorry, I'm going back up to.
No, that's like kids getting into or adults coming into the games.
Okay.
Anything that we charge into activities in the district.
So activity admissions.
Yeah, the big ones down here are the state revenues, the 600. So the transportation aid, that's kind of based off of that report I just showed you. Plus, it's based off of a bunch of different things. Our pupil count, Library aid is pretty set each year. That's a pretty close number. The per pupil aid adjustment, that's a 3-year average, and that's going from $450 per student to $654 per student this year. So
That's why the jump.
yeah, that's why the big jump. The general state aid is another kind of best guess, but that's a pretty good best guess. They give you kind of the numbers, but if things change with other districts, it impacts us. It impacts us as well. Sparsity aid is another big one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be. We'll know the for sure number in October, and I think it's going to be $60,000 more coming in than what's there. But I wasn't positive, so we went on the cautious route. So that's $200,000. So if you look at that, our main source of revenue is the general state aid or the equalization aid, and that number we'll know for sure in October.
When do you have like final student numbers when you compare like what we had last year to this year?
You have two times a year. You have it's called the second Friday count and then the third Friday count. In this presentation, you have.
I apologize if I'm
Nope, that's all right. It's based off of the second Friday in January and the third Friday in September, vice versa.
Okay.
Second Friday in January, third Friday in September, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And that's that number. So each year, that date, I meet with the secretaries in both buildings and make sure they take attendance. Not everybody's taking attendance in the building. And then they give you a little wiggle room if the kid's here the day before, the day after. You also get to count them, kind of those type of things. So, AGR, that SAGE, you guys, we talk about that every year. That number should be pretty close to that 151,000, and then some small, computer aid and teach grants. So that total state revenue, the 600 is at $5,669,701. Then we have Title I is at 84,000. Title II and Title IV, we have that 29,000. That SSRA grant, we're getting that again. We applied for it. It's that small rural schools grant. We just found out today, at the top of the next page, I'll be able to enter 41,000 something for the DOJ safety grant. So that'll also be included in that, which will help out a lot. Originally, we had a plan, Bo and I, Mr. Osmond and I had a plan to purchase like 3 to 5 cameras every year. And now I think we'll be able to pretty much buy all the cameras for this year and replace all the cameras in this building, reallocate some of these cameras into the elementary building, and even have some cameras over in the elementary building. So we should be able to do really well this year for that. Then we have so the total 700s you see is that 140,000 number. Sale of fixed assets, which is selling of small items, selling of, I think this year most of it was selling of computers and kind of random stuff. Company pick up old printers and old computers at like $50 to $100 a pop just to get rid of them in the building. Insurance claims, so then your total Fund 10 revenues is at $7,330,374. So the expenditures going out should be the exact same as the revenue because we do the zero-based budgeting. So when you look at the end numbers, the end number of the revenue should equal the end number of the expenditures here at the third line from the bottom. So then you go 110 is the most elementary building salaries, benefits, teaching paras over there, plus curriculum and all the stuff that's needed to keep the elementary building functioning, is that 1,600,000 number. The 120 is the junior senior high over here, so a little bit less, but 1,110,000 number. And vocational curriculum, 281,000. Physical curriculum, $202,000. Co-curricular, $217,000. Gifted and talented, $8,819. Total regular instruction dollars is $3,453 and $500. Excuse me. Pupil services is $116,000. Educational media, a lot of stuff that we do to update technology. We've saved a lot of money in the technology end of things with our Chromebooks. I think I mentioned to you guys we were buying computers with the docking stations for about $2,000 a piece. Our Chromebooks are right around the $300 mark, and then the desktops that we've been purchasing are about $800. So we've been able to save quite a bit of money with that. Plus also implement a lot of devices into students' hands. This year we did, and next year even more. So pretty exciting. District administration is $348,000. So that's out of my office, Joy, myself, that area. Building administration, that's more principals, secretaries, $470,000. This year, the 250s are kind of all in one. You can see I kind of shrunk the font down. Fiscal operate. I think I did that last year though too. I think last year was the first year. It was just easier to put the fiscal operations, maintenance, facilities, remodel, transportations, internal services. Around that $1 million mark. Central services, $152,000. Other support services, retirees and CISA, $90,000. Insurance and judgments at $96,000. Total support services for $200,000 is $2,700,000 range. Special ed transfers, so it's that Fund 27. Sometimes we have to, every year since I've been here, we have to transfer money from Fund 10 into Fund 27 to cover the costs of our special ed costs. A lot of that comes out of Fund 10. And then Fund 39 is the referendum money, that $59,000 budgeted for next year. Open enrollment is again a shot in the dark, but that's our best guess right now is at $476,000. Interfund transfers, so total transfers is $1 million, just over $1 million. And our total fund expenditures, which will equal our total fund revenues, is at $7,330,374. Beginning balance and ending balance at the end, that $1.5 million mark. So that one, Fund 10's the main one. Fund 27, like I just said, the transfer from Fund 10 is at $606,000 to cover the cost for special ed services. Transitive state aids, the best guess is $10,000. The state aid best guess is $170,000. Special project grant is $200,000. So our total Fund 27 revenues and expenditures equal out at the same at that $986,000 range. 38 is the non-referendum debt. So you have the property taxes. And then the accumulated interest, so total revenues is $580,000. Expenditures is long-term bond principal $360,000, and the long-term bond interest is $222,000. Debt retirement fees is $838,000, and then the total expenditures is $583,151. Fund 39 at the bottom of the second page. Operating transfer is $59,000. The local taxes $441,609. So total Fund 39 revenues is $501,000. And then total Fund 39 expenditures is $441,323. So the beginning balance and end of the year balance there below. 46 is not quite finished yet. Like I said, we'll Once the budgeting process is officially done, we'll be putting in some money for this year. That's kind of my hope was that 100,000.
Is that the max you can put in there?
No,
You can.
yeah, I'm not sure to be honest, what the max is or if there is a max, but that's kind of where we're at. So hopefully we'll have 200,000 in there. Fund 50, there's no transfer in. Like I said, there's no transfer in from Fund 10. Meal revenues, 200,000. Last year we had 218, or this past year 218. So total Fund 50 revenues is 420,900, which equals the expenditures. Um, 72 is a scholarship, which really there's not a whole lot of involvement on our end, or my end, I should say, with that. The gifts, 14,000, best guess, 10,000 for interest. And then total Fund 72 revenues is 24,000. Fund 80, property taxes at 30,000, other revenue 50,000, so total revenues are going to be 80,000 is our guess. Expenditures equal out the same. So for this year, that last page right now, we're looking at our estimated mill rate is going to go up a little bit to that $9.78. If you remember last year, I talked about that a little bit, that it'll go up again a little bit because we went down so much the year before. We were at $10.65 in 16-17. Then it went down to $9.62. So it'll go up a little bit to that $9.78. And again, this is based off of the 1% property value increase. So this money is the $9.78 per $100,000 of property that people in the Clear Lake municipalities own.
So where does that come in here?
As far as the what?
Yeah, where's the line under item on here for the for that income or whatever?
Property tax.
It's not a line item.
Oh, it's not.
Property taxes, all these that come through
Yep.
here
Okay.
go up all.
But there's more than
funds, yeah,
one.
some Property
Okay.
taxes under it, right?
Who decides that rate or whatever? That mill rate?
Well, there's only so much that we can levy. There's a maximum.
We do, Skip.
We do. We do?
But we do, yeah. So that key terms on that printout, that revenue limit, is kind of explains it a little bit. But we make that decision. But I don't know what year it was when districts could decide whatever they wanted, and then the property taxes were
these
through the
schools
roof.
that have had referendums to keep operating, like they can't just say, I'm going to move that to 15 for this year, right?
Right.
There's a limit.
Yep.
That limit is per student, right?
I don't know, Josh.
The maximum allowable levy is determined using the following factors: prior year's revenue limit, 3-year average pupil count, allowable per pupil revenue increase, special adjustments, exceptions, and the amount of general state aid to be received by the district in the current year.
So you pretty much, they tell you what that's going to be. You can't really adjust it much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could levy more than what we levy,
Yeah.
but we don't need to at this point. And that's when you get to that point, that's when you start looking at referendum. If you have to levy more than your expenditures.
So this pie chart, Josh, is the tax money, where the tax money goes: Fund 10, Fund 39, Fund 26, and Fund
Oh,
80.
that's right there.
This is just the yep,
Just the property tax.
just the levying, yep. So that those are those 4 areas.
So look at that.
And then, like in Fund 10, so 55% of it, you can see is, part of that very first page of the property taxes for
The one.
local 200s, yep. Does that make sense?
You're going to show this at the meeting, right?
Yeah, yep, this is all getting showed at the meeting, but in a annual meeting document form, so it'll look a little different. I mean, this will be the same.
I was just gonna say, the public might remember what Fund 10 is, but are they gonna remember what Fund 39 is? I'm just wondering if maybe it should be notated, this is the band director's salary, or whatever it is.
Like
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yep, like
For what it's
referendum from 2000.
Is there a reason why we cut the youth options? Or is that just not a thing anymore under the,
Where do you see that?
under inter-fund transfers?
Well, not
Under the,
Right.
What page, Jan?
it doesn't have page number. Page 2?
so I don't know if they answer your question,
Towards the
but
bottom?
the assessment is
Looks
this
like
dollar amount.
We spent
You assess
12,000.
everything,
or
and this is what we're
12,000,
calling
18,000, and now
for.
we have nothing
And then that's what
budgeted
determines what
towards
the
it.
mill rate is, how many dollars per 100,000.
That's the,
And I don't know, is
that's
youth
the tech
options?
school by request thing.
Yeah.
They have to fill out an application
Oh,
request, and
gotcha.
one has to approve it, so we don't know a dollar amount until
Oh.
we actually receive requests for students.
Gotcha. Okay.
We'll call it that.
No, I was
They
gonna say,
haven't been for it this
I
year.
thought
So
that
this
was-
went away.
Can't remember what.
3 million, they some
They just
red flag would get
Yeah.
up or whatever, and you can't do that.
Well, it just looked weird when you have something.
I don't know, your reports, if you tried to do a tax levy of 3 million through your reporting, there'd be
Okay.
the limitations that you just read.
Gotcha.
Something would get mad at you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what our limit is. I can try to find out,
It doesn't matter.
Um,
I was curious.
but it's not legal.
It's not a set state limit, it's whatever they can
It's a
give you,
formula.
but
Yeah.
I always thought that it was a dollar amount per student, but it sounds like it's a little bit more
It's
complicated
more-
than that.
Now it's become an actuarial equation.
Yeah, you should see the forms for this stuff. It's insane.
Nice.
And a lot of the, obviously it's an election year, but the superintendent meetings have been bringing in different legislators, and they've been talking about some of the budgeting stuff. And during that process, they said Wisconsin has the most complex budgeting system than any other state in the nation. And when you look at it, I believe them. I'm not sure if it's they just said that or not, but I certainly believe them by looking at it. So do you guys have any questions or requests for the annual meeting other than what Greg just said?
I wish my budgets at home looked this nice.
You don't have that many funds of money. It's just one general fund.
So we need to approve this preliminary budget then, it
Yeah.
looks like. So I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the preliminary budget.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2018-19 preliminary budget. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Josh. And then we'll move on to our superintendent notes.
Okay. Don't have a whole lot of notes, other than it's the ending of the budgeting season and beginning of the building of the budget season. Like I said, with the admin team, we're meeting next week to go through all of the policy work that we've been working with Neola. We're also going through trying to schedule Chris Stratton for the in-service for 2018 year to continue the curriculum work. I had mentioned the budgeting, the safety grant that we got, the $41,000 for, and then we have the auditing process coming near, which I know is exciting for Mrs. Karnick and Ms. Norby in our office. And then I have the legal conference in that same week as well. So that's about it. Do you have anything, Mr. Gillis?
We're working on hiring process.
Oh,
for
yeah.
High school office secretary. We've got 22 applicants and we're doing some screening right
Ooh,
now.
that's good.
Yeah.
Reposted the special ed position as well. That's been a challenge, but we just put that back on weekend and hopefully generate some interest in that. And then we're also going to be posting the .5 music position And then we have a couple, we have a transportation, a bus driving position that we need to fill that's going to get posted here in the next week, as well as a part-time custodial position. 3 or 4 hours, I think, per week for that one.
How about all the coaching?
Yeah, has Dale had any luck with any of the coaching?
Yep, we have not started interviewing. I believe they're posted, but we've not started that process yet.
Does he have interest in every position he has
I'm
out
not
there?
sure. I've not spoken with Mr. Rosine a little bit, but
What happens if we don't get a special ed person?
don't even say it. I don't know. I think, we've been talking about it a little bit. I think we've got a little bit of interest right now, but I'm not sure what we would do, if we'd have to look internally to see who holds that licensure, if we'd have to do some shifting and shuffling, if we'd have to reach out to CISA to see if we could do some type of short-term contract for a short-term solution until we could get it filled.
How much more? Is there more schooling with that? I'm guessing,
No, it's the only license that's federally mandated. So out of all the licensures, it's the only one that's not governed by the state. It's federally governed. So the changes that have been happening that you've been hearing as far as the licensing changes and everything's getting so easy to get a license.
Lifetime license.
Special ed is the only one that's not. It's a lifetime licensure, so it did fall in that category, but it didn't change as far as the requirements. So there's been a couple.
So what do they have to do to get a license?
You have to get your 4-year degree, but then there's also, like when I got mine, there were 2 tests that you have to take to get it, and now they've added a 3rd test. Those tests seem to cause some trouble. They're a little bit tricky. One specifically, it's a reading test. Our hope is that they will recognize, because Clear Lake's not unique. I mean, it's across the state, so
Maybe you should apply for it.
yeah. So, I'm assuming that they will make some of those changes, and hopefully make.
So like yours is a forever one then?
Yep. So I just received my lifetime license.
So you get grandfathered in or whatever.
Yep.
It used to be forever a long time
It's
ago.
going to be you.
Like when Patty Weiss and Wayne Bussey, when they graduated, they were lifetime licenses back then.
Yep.
And they switched up, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure when either.
Late 90s.
Late 90s?
Because mine had to be a initial and then a 5-year and then I got a 10-year and then a master teacher.
Chris isn't here, but does anybody know where the bubble is in the elementary? I know the teachers have shifted a lot from first to second to third.
Yeah.
Isn't there a bubble?
For
and then a
special ed or
decrease?
for?
No,
No,
just
just
regular
for-
classes.
Yeah,
Class size.
the bubble is 4th grade,
This
going
year?
into 4th grade.
Okay.
That's one of the bubbles. There's another bubble, that's kind of the smaller bubble. That's like we could go
Doable.
either way. So
Okay.
Chris and I have talked. I think we have pretty much finalized what we're doing as far as who's going where and what we're doing. And then
First grade's a big class.
yep.
And second grade's small.
But we have 3, so the first through 3rd grade, we're obviously staying with the 3 because of this age. JK is another bubble that we're looking, probably having like a 0.5 in the JK. And
The JK that's coming up or the
Yep.
JK that's moving to
no,
kindergarten?
the coming
Coming
JK
out.
is a little bit larger. That's all right off the top of my head. That's the 6th grade moving into, or now 7th graders. That's a little bit of a lower
That has a tiny class.
number as far as number of kids. All right.
Okay. Then we'll move on to our future agenda items.
Just had a couple listed on there. Do the review of summer school for this year. Have Mr. Peterson share out on that. Approval of the elementary student handbook. We did the junior senior high today. So the elementary one will be on the agenda for next month. And then the approval of support staff handbook. Any other items?
Are you guys going? I'd like to go to that August Turtle Lake board
too.
thing.
August 7th.
The 7th.
Is it the WASB?
In CISA 11, yeah.
It's like a board building thing.
It's with the guy that came and did our board workshop, that Al Brown, who
Okay.
just came and did the.
What was it,
session with
August?
us. August 7th, I believe.
We did have one more thing, Josh. Our one graduate that did not receive a diploma because they hadn't completed.
Yeah, I have that for
Completed this one.
getting signed, yeah. Or no,
Thanks to Mrs. Hughes for working with that student to complete their credit requirements so they can get their diploma.
Nice.
that's not this one.
Can I come in and hand it to him?
You want to give me a shout?
I don't feel like
You-
everything
you took
completed
that
already.
job for now
It's like
till
board
next
building.
spring.
Oh, really? All I have to
And-
shake the
Al
hands. I
said it
shouldn't
would be
trust
good.
me if
I
they had
remember
one
when
of
he came,
them
he's like, I'm doing another one.
Yeah.
Or I'm doing a training.
Who should I sign up for that?
Skip it, Nettie.
You might as well put me down for that too.
I'll do them.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can, I think it'd be good. We all went. But
Well, then I guess I'll go too.
is that a Tuesday?
It gets your
It's a
fall, it gets your fall thing in too, for as far as going to a training for each.
Oh, we have to go to trainings?
Well, we're supposed to go to 2 a year to get our,
Yes, we are.
we're supposed to go to 2 a
The
year.
things I learned.
Yeah, so that's,
My
so,
random conversation.
yeah. So every
Lucky
6
we
months
brought
you should
that
go
up.
to some type of training, whether it's you do a webinar or you actually go to one.
Okay. Do we have to send our certificate of completion to
No.
Josh so he can
We,
put it in
we
our
talk
personal
about it here
file?
during the board meetings, just about what we
Yeah,
learned and.
share out and then.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we used to do roll calls and accuse and
Well, I want
You have to have the speaker sign the program and bring it back. Yeah,
all that stuff is history.
that's all done.
I'm gonna make my own file.
I'll sign everybody up. If something changes for you where you can't make it, just let me know and I'll let them know.
I should-
Otherwise, I'll sign all 5 of you.
Nettie, do you know what time it starts?
Supper's at 6:30, I
think.
think meeting starts at 7.
Okay.
It's in Turtle Lake, so it doesn't
Yep.
get much more convenient
Yeah.
as far as these
I think
training
that's-
things
I
go.
think that's the one I've already
Yeah.
went to is
Yeah.
CISA and Turtle Lake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of by the bowling alley, if you don't,
Yep.
if you don't know where it is.
Yeah, between the bowling alley and Skinner's.
Yep. So you can go bowling or you can.
Maybe that's the app.
We have room on a team if you want to bowl. Just a sub.
Just a sub.
And over to bowling. All right, well, any other future agenda items? I know last time we had written down our vision. Do we want to kick that can down the road yet? Or?
Maybe after this next training.
Yeah.
That might catch the two of us up to speed on some of it if it's the same.
It might be actually,
Might be a.
from what I
field.
remember reading.
What I was thinking was maybe we could, we don't have a scheduled board meeting before our annual meeting, but we got to come in anyway. Maybe,
Meet an hour early or something.
yeah, maybe we put some time before that meeting to work on the vision part a little bit.
Sure.
I'm game.
For,
We're gonna
for
be here
which
anyways.
date?
on-
August 27th?
Prior to the annual meeting.
Hmm.
Do we have a board meeting on the 13th?
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
regular time.
Let's wait till the 13th then to set that. We'll just do it tentative now and see.
Christy might be gone because you have fair things at 27.
I will see what our schedule is. Typically, we were coming home that night, so.
I will not be here the next meeting. 13.
Do you have a signed excuse from your
Mm-hmm. Going
parents?
fishing right away.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, well, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn if no one has anything else.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second?
Been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.